Tukungoja sana sisi vijana na basi kidogo mbesi. Wapi nduru ya His Excellency wewe? Twende. Wapi nduru ya His Excellency wewe? Twende. Thank you DJ. Asante. Karibu sana Mheshimiwa Rais. Tunashukuru sana. Ni sababu tunaendelea. Now the program is to continue. Karibu.
Thank you. Every civilization has passed on its knowledge the same way, one generation teaching the next. Before anyone becomes a master of a craft or profession, they must first become an apprentice. That is how skills are passed on. That is how professions are built. And that is how nations are built. Every great career begins with someone willing to learn from someone who already knows. That is why internship matters. They are not simply temporary jobs or stepping stones. They are the bridge between learning and earning, between potential and performance, and between ambition and achievement. Today, we build another such bridge for the young people of Kenya through the launch of Next Gen Youth Empowerment Program. In doing so, we send a very clear message that Kenya believes in its young people. We are prepared to invest in their aspirations. We are determined to build an economy where talent, hard work, and innovation are matched by opportunity. For generations, education has been the greatest equalizer, opening doors to opportunity and social mobility. But today, a certificate or a degree alone is no longer enough. Employers are looking for practical experience, workplace discipline, problem-solving ability, and industry-ready skills. Yet, for too many young people, the journey from the classroom to the workplace has become longer and much more uncertain. When talent cannot find opportunity, dreams are delayed. Business struggles to find skilled workers, and our country loses productive potential that can never be recovered. That is why the government of Kenya has deliberately placed young people at the center of everything we are building. It is a promise we made and one we intend to continue keeping, that we will be deliberate and intentional in creating opportunities for our young people. For far too long, youth employment has been acknowledged, debated, and sometimes lamented. We have chosen action this time round over rhetoric. We are not merely creating jobs. We are creating opportunities through which young people discover their talent, develop mastery, and realize their full potential. Over the past 3 years, we have expanded opportunity at every stage of that journey. We have, for example, and I have seen this practically myself, of the 100,000 teachers we have hired, all of them have gone through internship. We hired them as interns and they graduated into permanent and pensionable workers. We will do so again this year. And we have many sectors that we are now building in internships. We have internships at the public service space. Last year, on these very grounds, I had 5,600 interns in our building spaces. People who have graduated from our universities, from our colleges, from our TVETs, they were here. Today, they are interns in our affordable housing program. We have, as a result, built and continue to build a bigger pool of skilled professionals by bridging the gap between classroom and the workplace by creating internship in between. Also, through the prior or recognition of prior learning, what we call RPL program, we have 2,088 artisans, including 180 women, who have been certified, enabling them to access formal contracts and better incomes. You all know we rolled out Nyota to equip 820,000 young people with skills and enterprise support. More than 122,000 beneficiaries have already received capital to start or expand their businesses. Another 90,000 young people are being trained and equipped with practical skills and placed in jobs or supported to start their own enterprises now. In addition, 20,000 vulnerable young people who already possess skills acquired through formal or non-formal and informal learning will receive formal recognition and certification. I thought we said, Fikirini, we improved this to 40,000, right? Sure. Yes. So we had resources for 20,000, but when we asked for applications, we got a bigger pool of young people in Kenya. And many of these people are people who have acquired skills by being in a workplace where they work under skilled and trained craftsmen and women in different sectors. And they are today skilled people. But because they didn't go to a school or a college, they have the skill, but they don't have the certificate. So what we have decided is that we are going to provide resources to certify these people, to examine them and certify them and give them certificates at government cost. We opened pathways to the digital economy, equipping more than 1.9 million Kenyans with digital skills and enabling the creation of 350,000 digital jobs, positioning Kenya as one of Africa's leading digital talent hubs. I say this with profound confidence that today Kenya is, I think in the latest ranking, we are country number 11 globally in business process outsourcing. And when I was in London the other day, when we attended one of the conferences, Teleperformance, the largest business processing company in the world, agreed to set up shop in Kenya. And today, they have their offices here at Two Rivers, and we are now working with them on how we can expand opportunities for young people, especially in that digital jobs space. I went to Ruiru last year to open the space for CCI, a company that is hiring 5,000 young people in one building on digital jobs, working for American companies from right here in Ruiru. That is the space we need to expand. And we have to skill our young people in Kenya for them to be ready to work in the digital jobs space. We did provide resources as Government of Kenya and hired trainers in all our TVETs so that young people can be given training, which doesn't take very long, sometimes 3 months, sometimes 6 months, and they are ready to take up positions on the digital jobs market. Today, we take another decisive step. Next Gen is a landmark partnership between the Government of Kenya, the United Nations Development Programme, UNDP, and other partners. And it will accelerate inclusive youth economic transformation by connecting young people with meaningful work experience and practical skills. And I'm very happy to see you guys here this morning. You represent as a small part of the first 500 of you. And I will tell you how we are going to scale this up so that we can get to 100,000 young people like yourself accessing practical skills and job market experience as we go into the future. This program, as has been said, is initially targeting 30,000 young people. But looking at the partnership and the collaboration that is here, the Government of Kenya will be willing to scale up our partnership so that we can take this program to 100,000 young people. And when I met my good brother, the director of UNDP, when he came to present his papers, and he mentioned to me how he would have wanted to engage the Government of Kenya. I remember I told him, this is one thing that we had it in the Jubilee Manifesto. In fact, we had established a state department for internship, and we had called it internship and something, but we didn't succeed that time. So when John mentioned to me, I saw an opportunity where we can do this correctly this time round. And so I quickly informed John and his team in Treasury that this is a project we must support. And that is how we provided the first 2 billion shillings, which we have signed up here today.
These programs and initiatives that we are taking will not succeed or will come to naught unless there is confidence in this economy by the private sector and unless we crowd in investment, both domestic and foreign investment. And Your Excellency, that is why I cannot leave this stage without mentioning that it is saddening and disheartening to hear national leaders or people who claim to be the national leaders talk negatively about our economy, especially at a time when we have worked so hard to create confidence in this economy, and this is exhibited by numbers. We have seen increased number of tourists in this country in the past few months. We have seen increased investment in this country in the past few months. The Nairobi Securities Exchange is performing much better. It's now the 4th best performing Nairobi Securities Exchange in the world. We have seen more credit going to the private sector. Your Excellency, a while back, in fact, the beginning of last year, we were seeing a shrinking, negative growth in credit to the private sector. Today, credit to the private sector is almost hitting a double-digit growth at 9.3%. And then you hear leaders, or people who claim to be leaders, talk negatively and advising people not to invest in this country, and advising tourists not to come to this country. Your Excellency, that is where the difference is between a team which does not believe in this country, a team that does not believe in the people of this country, a team that does not believe in the future of this country, or don't care about the future of this country. And there is another team, this side, which believes in this country, which has faith in this country, which believes in the human capital. We are seeing here today 500 strong Kenyans who are going out there to create more wealth in this economy. A team that believes in the future of this country. And that is the difference between us, Your Excellency, and your government, and those other people. You like referring to them as characters, and I also want to agree. They are characters who don't actually know what is good for this country. The National Treasury has a simple but important responsibility, and that is to ensure that every shilling entrusted to government is invested where it delivers the greatest economic and social return for the people of Kenya. No investment offers greater returns than investing in the people, as this will spur productive capacity and more returns in the future. Kenya, as we know it, is a youthful nation. We have approximately 75% of our population below the age of 35, making our young people our greatest comparative advantage. So for many graduates, the transition from education into meaningful employment remains one of the most challenging stages in their professional journey. And that is why when John Luke reported here, Your Excellency, I remember having the first and the initial meetings with him, and I expressed to him that our major concern as a government is how then do we create more job opportunities to our graduates who are coming out of colleges. Because that is the single most important challenge that we have as a country. And it is not unique to Kenya. This is something that is fundamental in this continent, because we have a growing population, yet job opportunities are not expanding as much. So from the National Treasury's perspective, this is not simply a labor market issue. It is an economic issue. A country's long-term competitiveness depends on the productivity of its workforce, and the more skilled, experienced, and productive our young people become, the stronger our businesses and the more competitive would be our economy, and the greater our capacity to sustain inclusive growth. This is why youth employment is not simply a social priority under the bottom-up economic transformation agenda, but it is an economic imperative. No economy can achieve sustained growth if it underutilizes its most abundant factor of production, and that is its people. Every shilling we invest in programs such as NextGen is an investment in Kenya's future productive capacity. Future taxpayers are also created, and future entrepreneurs and future business leaders are developed. So, Your Excellency, today with this launch, you are actually triggering into action 2 billion shillings allocated by the National Treasury on behalf of the government of Kenya for the implementation of this program. This allocation reflects a deliberate choice by your government, Your Excellency, to back our young people with real resources at scale. And this is in addition to a number of resources that we have also allocated to support youth programs. And I would not fail to mention Nyota. This funding sits alongside UNDP's catalytic contribution of initial contribution of 175 million shillings and other commitments from private sector, creating a genuine partnership where public money is designed to crowd in investment from development partners and the private sector to multiply its impact. This is exactly how public finance should work. Public resources should not seek to replace private investment. They should unlock it. And every shilling invested by government should encourage additional investment by businesses and development partners, multiplying both impact and value for money. And as we launch this program, the National Treasury is providing the resources, but it is the private sector that turns capital into jobs. And Kenya's private sector is rising to the occasion. More than 20 companies have already committed to take up 500 interns for this first cohort and over the next 3 years. And more than 30,000 young Kenyans will move through structured, stipend-supported placements. I know you will speak more to this. So one of the most important responsibilities of National Treasury, Your Excellency, is to ensure that public investment reinforce one another. Our responsibility is to build a coherent national architecture where different initiatives serve different needs while working towards the same national objective.
We partnered with Ministry of ICT and MasterCard Foundation and other stakeholders to implement what is called the Ajira Digital Program, Kenya's flagship digital jobs initiative, reaching all the 47 counties, including the refugee camps. Ajira Digital has registered more than 600 users on the Ajira Digital portal, trained over 400,000 youth in market-aligned digital skills, and facilitated over 470,000 direct and indirect digital opportunities. This has contributed to a fourfold growth in the number of young people earning online through digital work countrywide, from about 600 youth in 2019 to 2.4 million Kenyans today. This program has deliberately ensured inclusion by supporting women, persons with disability, refugees, as I mentioned, were in the refugee camps, Kakuma. We are building partnerships with more than 300 employers, BPO firms, digital labor platforms, and training institutions.
We have also seen what employers can gain in return. Businesses that invest in young talent do not simply give young Kenyans experience, they build their own talent pipeline. Fresh perspectives, new ideas, the future employees identified and developed early. The businesses investing in talent today are building the workforce they need tomorrow. This is not charity, Your Excellency. It's an investment in our own competitiveness, which we have talked about severally and in many occasions that we need to be in a competitive environment. That is the opportunity before us with NextGen today, a platform building career, stronger pathways to talent, but its success will ultimately depend on what happens after this launch. When an employer takes on an intern, when a manager takes the time to mentor, when a business chooses to see potential where others only lack experience, this is where the real change happens, and this is where the real change will happen. So my call to every employer in this room and every employer across the country today is simple. Open your doors, create opportunities, mentor young people, hire for potential. When you give a young person their first opportunity, you strengthen more than a business, you strengthen a family, you strengthen a community, and you strengthen the future of this country. Your Excellency, on behalf of Kenya's employers, we are ready to do our part. Let this NextGen program be a program that we launch today for tomorrow. Let it be a commitment that we carry forward, one opportunity, one workplace, one young person at a time. Every day, businesses across the country decide who to hire, what skills they need, and who they believe can help them grow. Behind every one of those decisions is a young Kenyan with the qualification, with the ambition, and with the potential, still waiting for someone to say, come in, let me give you a chance. Your Excellency, it was mentioned earlier on this morning that 1 million kids, 1 million youth in Kenya come into the job market every year, and we have a moral obligation to accommodate them in the private sector. This is where we are, As employers, we need an honest conversation with ourselves. We often speak of skills mismatch in this country, and though it were the only problem with our education and our training system, it is not, Your Excellency, and let me repeat by saying no. Too often, we ask young people for experience, as mentioned this morning, without giving them a chance to gain it. We say graduates are not workplace ready without asking whether we have done enough to shape what ready should mean. If we want a different outcome, we in the private sector must change our own practice first. So we are all guilty as charged, Your Excellency. That means working with training institutions to define the skills of our industries actually need before a young person graduates. It means opening our workplaces to interns like we're doing this morning and to apprentices, giving them meaningful work rather than simply a desk, and providing mentorship with feedback that helps them grow. And where a young person proves themselves, it means building the pathway for opportunity to employment. This responsibility, Your Excellency, does not belong to the large corporates in this room. Kenya's economy is powered by businesses of every size. An SME can give a young person their first job. A family-owned business can give their first mentor. A growing startup can give them their first state of innovation. The size of business does not determine the size of the impact, sir. One opportunity can change one's life, and many such opportunities can change the trajectory of a whole generation.
Despite getting good grades in my two diplomas, I was unemployed. No one was willing to employ me with no experience. There came in application for TVT program in partnership with KEPSA, AFD Bank, and Ministry of Education. I applied. Luckily, I got this for the first time. A round of applause. This changed my life. I took it as a rare opportunity because I had failed in other interviews which I had attended earlier. It made me feel that this is the right opportunity to utilize and to make my life. And for sure, it made my life because as we stand today, I'm the CEO Beyond Murimi Fashions. This is as a result of mentorships, work readiness trainings offered during my internship. The practical skills offered during my internship builded me to have confidence to start my own, to have confidence and say, because I was not employed, I was given an internship, I can employ a youth. And funny enough, I have employed youth in my business. So, if you are given this opportunity as a youth, take it as a rare opportunity. Take it as one on your own to build your future. It comes once, like many others say, use it with a lot of discipline. I want to thank the government led by His Excellency Dr. William Ruto for having the idea of supporting youth. I want also to thank the development partners for allowing the idea prevail. I want to also to thank the private sectors for getting into partnerships with all these sectors to make the idea come true. It cannot go unmentioned that we also thank the youth for having that urge of taking any opportunity that comes their way. As I conclude, to my fellow youth and young people in this room and in other different parts of the country, the opportunity may look so small, but take it. Because every step, you must start small. No one starts from above. You must start from the bottom.
The Next Gen KE Youth Employment Program is not only timely, but needed. This program will do to others what Co-Africa did to me. Give them a fighting chance in this world by providing opportunities to gain work experience and attain both professional and personal growth. What I love the most about this program is that it caters to both graduates and those who did not go through tertiary education. So this means no one, and absolutely no one, is left behind. It is because of programs like this that we as young people can confidently walk into any room because we have the experience to back up our certifications. This program will give my generation hope for a better future and a reminder that we are seen, we are catered for, and we matter. Thank you all for joining hands to support the youth of this country. It has been an honor and a privilege to address you all today. My name is Stella Kidera, and I am proof of what can happen when someone gives a young African an opportunity. Thank you.
God bless.